So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is the Ryan here.
And today we actually have a pretty interesting video for you all. Now, overnight, ScottGames.com actually updated with a brand new teaser image, and this is something big, and it seems like this was the hint Scott was trying to give us.
Yes, I don't think a lot of us were actually expecting this, and when we actually analyze this image, we'll see that there are a few things that actually very, very strange.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were expecting like a teaser trailer, weren't they?
Yes.
But I think it's quite important that we actually get introduced to all of the roster for this new Five Nights at Freddy's 4 game before we start getting introduced to teaser trailers and things like that. So it's a good job this guy has actually shown up on the website before anything else. Now, we could have actually posted this video last night, guys, but we've chose to actually hold off just a bit and spend quite a lot of time investigating this image and trying to depict all of the important information for you all so that we can compile it into one and then we can start analyzing them for different videos as the week progresses. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into it. And firstly, we're going to actually be speaking about why this is definitely a brand new animatronic.
So yeah, the first thing is that this character seems to have Balloon Boy's kind of buttons, but he also has like a purple bow tie, and none other animatronics have a purple bow tie. And previously, the image before was a purple hat with a black little stripe going around the middle, and no other animatronic had that also, so this is definitely something new.
Yeah, I think the only likable character to that was the toy Freddy hat, but yeah. I don't know, it still seems a bit fishy kind of bringing in the toy animatronics just yet. I think we still need to be introduced to another specific character who this may be. And the second thing, which is actually a bit more obvious, is that the jawline doesn't actually match with any of the current Nightmare animatronics, making this Nightmare animatronic definitely a more unique one. I mean, we've only seen some of the headshots of these new guys. We haven't really seen a torso shot like this, so, you know, a few people may have been thinking that this could have been another one of the same animatronics, just in a wider view, but it actually seems to be a definitely unique animatronic. Now, the second thing we should talk about is that he is a big animatronic, and I think Scott's definitely portraying this through the fact he's taking up all of the screen and we still can't see the whole of this animatronic in shot.
Yeah, I think when he said something big is coming, I think he literally meant something big is coming.
Yeah. Something which has really made me think is that, you know, the buttons that we see on the chest?
Yes.
If we actually think back to Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the puppet actually possesses two of these too. Now, I'm not trying to bring the two characters in correlation together, but what I'm actually looking at is the scale of these buttons in regard to the animatronic, and, you know, it actually seems like this guy may be a normal-sized animatronic, but maybe there's something big is coming. It's actually in representation to the importance of this character rather than his scale.
Yeah, because if we're speculating this guy to be Fredbear, then he's the guy that pretty much started all of the chains of Freddy Fazbear's pizzas off, so he's pretty much like the godfather of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Now, you guys might be wondering why we've actually just called this character Fredbear. We don't really have much of a hint, and the biggest hint actually lies in the inspect element. Now, this one was very secretive, and some clever people over on Reddit have actually discovered this for everyone to know. Now, if we actually were to go into the inspect element, in one of the lines we would see a code segment which says GSFECFBS. Now, at first this seems like a jumble of words, but upon closer inspection, you can actually make some sense of this. Now, basically, if you take each of these letters one back in the alphabet, you'll actually get something pretty shocking, and the name will actually spell out Fredbear, and that is a positive result. So that alone is really startling, and I think it's possibly one of the most direct hints we've had in a long time. We saw the purple hat and the purple bow tie. That was definitely property of Fredbear and Fredbear's family diner. Now we have to think, is this now speaking about this animatronic in black and white?
Yeah, see, I was thinking, you know, that Sky's actually really exceeded himself here. I mean, none of us were expecting him to drop a hint, Da Vinci Code style kind of hint.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how he's, I don't know, he's a clever man, definitely.
Absolutely, and I think another thing that's clever what he's done is he's actually made the image black and white apart from two elements in this image. The first one being the bow tie, and the second one being the ScottGames.com logo. It's really interesting why he'd actually make the animatronic in black and white if we've seen the purple Freddy character and we know he's actually purple, and it might actually mean he may be represented in a few forms other than just this purple form we currently know him as.
Yes, but we'll leave that for another video.
Now, the second portion we're going to be speaking about is the title, which is the second portion of this image which has been updated. Now, if you actually look at the Scott Games logo, something quite stifling has happened. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about this pink guy and purple guy thing. This may be a hint, it may not. that it may just be completely coincidental, but the title has most certainly become a lot more vibrant in color, and it's almost resembling a pink color rather than the purple one that was present in the last one.
See, I personally believe that it's showing this animatronic coming out of the shadows almost. Like the previous one, we see this reflection of this person in the shadows. It was a lot darker. Now that he's out of these shadows, it's a lot lighter and more vibrant.
You see, the other thing I had, and this is completely speculative, is the fact that in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 nights, we see this purple Freddy character being controlled. We do not see him on the 5th night, meaning the animatronic could have been placed anywhere. What about if this bow tie and hat was actually left lying on the floor, and this animatronic then came and found it? So maybe the title was purple, showing that the purple guy last used it before he died, and maybe now we've got this new guy coming in who's actually represented by this pink color, and he's now reclaimed his items and he's become the ultimate Nightmare Fredbear.
Yeah, it's just very confusing why this killer would use this suit in particular. It's very confusing.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to actually move over to a next portion, and that is some text which is hidden within this image, and the first section is along the left-hand side, and it actually says, "Or was it me?"
So this has been a reoccurring thing throughout these Nightmare teasers, although this isn't actually a Nightmare teaser. There's no Nightmare within the source code or the image itself.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's still questioning, obviously we believe it's, well, the community's speculating that it's the bite of 87. So it's very interesting that Fredbear's actually been drawn into this whole thing when we know he wasn't around during that time, but he was, apparently.
It does make you think about the past animatronics as well. I mean, they may all well and truly be a property of Fredbear's family diner. You know, they all seem to be following a similar build, a similar destructive nature. They definitely look a bit destroyed and withered over time, and as I say, they're all following the same traits, so could have all of these animatronics actually been designed by Fredbear's family diner?
Yeah, that would make sense, and obviously if this person was bitten, it'll probably point towards these animatronics more because they don't know the design of them almost. They don't know the malfunctions, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, the second portion of text is actually within the mouth portion, but not the mouth you guys are actually thinking, more towards the torso area. And it seems to say PRO, and then there's a space between, and it says me.
Yes, now there is a lot of things that this could possibly say, but I think we're believing it to say property of me.
Yeah, and we're actually once again going to leave this one for another video entirely, because this is something that has a lot of depth to it, guys, and I think it warrants a separate video rather than just being shortly briefed over in this one. So we'll leave that for now, but we're going to talk about some things which are actually in the innards of this animatronic's torso/belly region.
Yes, whilst I was trying to look at the text, I looked down and I saw these two glowing eyes. If you was to actually put the brightness of this image down, you can actually see these two glowing eyes within this torso, and when you zoom in closer, you can actually make out that it's the puppet.
Or it could possibly be the crying child.
Or the crying child, possibly, yeah. And then when you go to the left of this, you can actually see what appears to be Freddy's top hat, and partly you can see his kind of snout in the middle of the mouth.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because of the distinctive kind of speculation. That's kind of going down the hat. It's very shiny, and you can definitely see that this is more or less a hat rather than some kind of withered, damaged nature. I mean, if you look at the mouth region, you can see there's all sorts of bumps and scratches all over the teeth, and with this one, it doesn't seem to be so apparent as that.
I think it's a metaphor, in honesty. It's like the belly of Freddy Fazbear. This is like where it all is, if you know what I mean. It's you know that saying, within the belly of something, almost. I forgot how the saying actually goes, but I don't know, maybe it's to represent that this guy is the big one and all of anything that's came before has just been pretty much nothing so far.
Yeah, I see what you mean, kind of like the godfather of Five Nights at Freddy's and the whole thing. I mean, Fredbear we know to be the first establishment, so this might be representing kind of the big daddy of everything, that he's coming back, and it could be, for all we know, it could be a prequel, it could be a sequel. That's something we still don't 100% know just yet, so we're not going to brief over that too much because we don't want to provide any misleading information. Okay, and now to finalize, we're going to be talking about the only color portion of this image, that is, of course, the bow tie. I'm going to be speaking about it from our perspective, so the directions will not actually be the same. If we look at this image's left-hand side, there appears to be some bluish lighting, almost highlighting that side of the bow, and if we look to the right, we can actually see a reddish tint. Now, so far, we know that Bonnie was engulfed in this blue light, and Foxy was engulfed in this red light, so that might mean that all of these 5 animatronics we've seen could be real, and they could be all within the same establishment, or it could mean something entirely different that we don't actually know about yet.
So we've done a previous video suggesting that these Nightmare animatronics are actually stood next to each other, so
yes.
Could this possibly be that they're all in the same location together for the final game?
It could possibly be. I mean, they're all following this similar design trait, and, you know, time will only tell with this one, really, so I think we're going to have to just wait and see what the next teaser image is. Yeah. But I actually think, before we conclude this as well, I just want to talk about the actual mouth region of this animatronic, because it almost seems like it's almost like wetness to the mouth, and that to me is kind of freaky, because it almost looks like it's real, and it looks like there's some kind of innards to this animatronic that don't quite look mechanical.
Yeah, just like Springtrap, who's kind of like human organs within it.
Yes, so yes.
Who's to say that, yeah, that this isn't the same kind of thing?
And it's just weird, you know, we've got this full frontal view and it's all in black and white, so we don't actually know, for example, the colors of this animatronic's gums, which encase the teeth, or within, for all we know, it could be a more pinkish, human-like flesh color. We literally have zero idea. And the fact that Scott has made this animatronic black and white could be one of two things. It could be hiding some crucial information. I mean, at the end of the day, the most important thing about these animatronics' identities is the color, and secondly, it could just be hiding, or at least hinting towards the fact that this guy is very old and he's existed since the birth of Five Nights at Freddy's. Note the black and white color scheme.
Yes, and one final point I'd like to point out is that maybe in the previous image we saw the bow tie and the hat, so who's to say that the next teaser image won't be showing this purple hat and the face of this, whatever this thing is.
I think if he actually did that, that would be very terrifying, and also a very unique and possibly smart move to introduce what we now know, I think, to be the main protagonist of Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
Yeah.
So there we have it, guys. There's once again another interesting look at the newest teaser on ScottGames.com. It was quite hard to actually compact all this information. We chose to do a lot of research prior to making this video to ensure that we'd be providing all of the information within this image, or at least as much as we can see currently. Hopefully you did enjoy the video, and if you did, be sure to comment down below any of your thoughts on what this image might mean.
And also be sure to like the video if you guys did enjoy it, and why not subscribe for more theories like this and also some gameplay.
So thank you very much for watching the video, guys, and we'll of course see you on the next one.
Goodbye, guys.
Want to see even more content from us?
Consider liking and subscribing to ensure you'll see all content in the foreseeable future.
And hey, why not check out our past 2 videos?